Have you ever been fast asleep in your bed only to be awakened by a phone call? Yes. A phone call from your ex who you broke up with over 6 months ago. What were they calling you for after all this time? Did they want to get back together? Or was there some other reason for them to disturb you at this ungodly hour? Well, before we can answer that question, first we need to look into another situation, one that has kept many awake at night, tormented by thoughts and questions without any answers. You are lying in your bed sleeping peacefully until suddenly you are awoken from your slumber. But it's not a phone call that interrupts your sleep, but rather a dream. You find yourself face to face with your ex again. It feels so real and yet so surreal. You don't know what to do, what to say, and before you can even figure out how to react, you are suddenly jolted back to reality. If this sounds familiar to you, then chances are you have had these kinds of dreams more than once. After all, these are some of the most common types of dreams people have, and just because it's common doesn't mean it's any less jarring. But why does this happen? Why do we keep dreaming about our exes over and over again? Is there something hidden beneath the surface? Some secret meaning that our subconscious mind is trying to convey to us? Let's take a closer look at these dreams and explore their possible meanings. Number 1, to express our feelings. Sometimes when we go through a breakup, we may feel a range of emotions, including sadness, anger, confusion, and even relief. However, expressing these feelings openly is not always easy. This is especially true if you were the one who initiated the split. After all, no one wants to admit they made a mistake, right? In these situations, our minds may try to process our emotions through dreams. By revisiting the relationship, our subconscious mind may be trying to express the feelings that we have been unable to articulate while we were awake. This can help us to better understand ourselves and our relationships moving forward. So the next time you dream about your ex, pay attention to how you feel. It could be a sign that your subconscious mind is trying to tell you something. Number 2, to resolve conflicts. Another reason why you keep dreaming about your ex is that your subconscious mind is trying to resolve any conflicts that may have arisen during the relationship. Perhaps there were unresolved issues or arguments that left you feeling upset or frustrated. These negative emotions can linger long after the breakup, keeping us from moving on. Our subconscious mind may try to resolve these conflicts through dreams by putting us back in situations where we can confront the issues that are bothering us. By facing these problems head-on, we can work through them and find a resolution that brings us peace. Of course, this does not mean that we should try to reconcile with our exes, but rather that we should focus on resolving the inner conflicts that are holding us back. So if you keep dreaming about your ex, it may be a sign that your mind is trying to help you let go of the past and move forward. Number 3. To gain clarity. Sometimes when we go through a breakup, we may feel lost and confused. We may not be sure what we want or where we are going. In these situations, our subconscious mind may try to help us gain clarity by giving us signs and messages through our dreams. For example, you may dream about your ex getting married to someone else. This dream could be a sign that you need to focus on your own life and stop worrying about your ex. Or perhaps you dream about reuniting with your ex. This dream could be a sign that you still have unresolved feelings for them, and that you need to address them. Ultimately, the messages that we receive in our dreams are up to us to interpret. But if we are open to receiving them, our dreams can be a powerful tool for helping us gain clarity and direction in our lives. So if you keep dreaming about your ex, it may be a sign that your mind is trying to tell you something important. Pay attention to the details of the dream and see if they can provide you with some insight into your current situation. Number 4. To test the waters. Have you ever dreamed of running into your ex in a most crowded place? What did you do in that scenario? Chances are you felt awkward and embarrassed. Even if you were the one who initiated the breakup, it can be difficult to reconnect with them. That's why many people prefer to test the waters first by seeing if their ex is still on their mind. By dreaming about your ex, you are able to see how you feel when you think about them. If you feel happy and excited, then it may mean that you still have feelings for them, and that you should try to reconnect. On the other hand, if you feel angry and bitter, then it may mean that you need to let go and move on. Ultimately, the decision of what to do is up to you. But by paying attention to your dreams, you can get a better sense of how you feel about your ex and what you should do next. Number 5. They are thinking of you. Have you ever wondered if your ex thinks about you sometimes? Of course they do. You can't stop thinking about them even after all this time. How could anyone forget someone they loved so dearly? It's only natural. But the interesting thing is that when two people break up, they often wonder the same thing about each other. Are they thinking about me? Are they happy without me? Are they sad? It's only normal to miss someone after a breakup, whether you initiated it or not. After all, it takes time to adjust to living without someone who was once an integral part of your life. The good news is that there is a way to find out if your ex is thinking of you, and it doesn't involve stalking them on social media or going through their mutual friends. Instead, you can look to your dreams for clues. If you keep dreaming about your ex, then it's a sign that they are on your mind. And what better indication do you need that they are thinking of you too? So the next time you dream about your ex, take it as a sign that the feelings are mutual. They miss you just as much as you miss them. Number 6. To cope with change. A breakup is one of the most difficult things we can go through. When a relationship ends, it can feel like the world is falling apart. Suddenly you have to deal with all kinds of new and difficult emotions like grief, loneliness, and self-blame. All of these emotions can be overwhelming, and it can be hard to know how to cope with them. That's where dreams come in. When we dream about our exes, it's because we are subconsciously trying to cope with the change in our lives. We may not be ready to let go of the past, but by reliving it in our dreams, we are able to process our emotions and come to terms with the breakup. This allows us to move on and start fresh without the baggage of our past relationships holding us back. So if you keep dreaming about your ex, know that it's okay. You're just trying to cope with the changes in your life. Give yourself time and eventually you'll feel better. Number 7. To remember them. Have you ever broken off a relationship only to regret it a few weeks later? Perhaps you started to miss your ex and all the good times you shared together. Memories of inside jokes, whispered secrets, and shared dreams filled your head. Before you knew it, those memories became some of your most cherished possessions. But how do you keep these memories alive after a breakup? One way is through dreams. When we dream about our exes, we are subconsciously trying to remember them. We may not realize it, but our brains are working hard to preserve the memories we shared together. This is especially true if the breakup was recent. As our brains are still processing the loss, we may cling to our dreams of our exes as a way to hold on to the past. However, as time goes on, these dreams may fade away as we adjust to life without our exes. So if you keep dreaming about your ex, cherish those dreams. They are a reminder of the love and happiness you shared together. Number 8. You miss them. There's nothing quite like the pain of a breakup, the moment you realize that the person you loved and cared about so much no longer wants to be with you. It can feel like your whole world is crashing down around you. You may find yourself constantly thinking about them and wondering what they are doing. You may miss their smile, their laugh, their touch. You may miss the way they made you feel. You may even miss the fights because it meant you got to see them. Whatever the case may be, the fact remains that you miss them, but you're not alone. Most people experience this kind of heartache at some point in their lives, and there is a reason for it. It's because when we lose someone we love, our brains go through a process called grief. Grief is a natural reaction to loss, but it can be all-consuming and overwhelming. That's why it's important to allow yourself to grieve and heal. But you can also take steps to help yourself move on. One of the best things you can do is to talk about your ex with someone you trust. This could be a friend, family member, or therapist. Talking about your feelings will help you process them and move on. You can also try to focus on the positive aspects of your life. Make plans with friends, pursue your hobbies, and take care of yourself. It may not be easy, but with time and effort, you will heal. Number 9. To forgive them. A breakup is never easy, even if it's for the best. There will always be a part of you that misses your ex, the good times you shared, and the person they were. It's only natural, but sometimes those feelings of longing and fondness can turn into guilt and shame. Maybe you feel guilty because you didn't do everything you could to save the relationship, or maybe you feel ashamed because you're still hung up on your ex long after the breakup. Either way, these feelings of guilt and shame can be eating away at you, making it hard to move on. That's where forgiveness comes in. When we forgive, we don't just let go of the hurt and anger we're feeling. We also free ourselves from the burden of guilt and shame. We realize that everyone makes mistakes, and that we are not perfect either. We also realize that we cannot change the past, but we can choose how to move forward, and that starts with forgiveness. So the next time you dream about your ex, ask yourself, are you holding on to any guilt or shame? If so, it might be time to let go and forgive. Not only will it make you feel lighter and happier, but it will also help you move on. And number 10, to say goodbye. Breakups are never easy, even if it's for the best. There will always be a part of you that misses your ex, the good times you shared and the person they were. It's only natural, but sometimes those feelings of longing and fondness can be hard to deal with. You may find yourself constantly thinking about your ex, wondering if they are happy without you. You may miss their smile, their laugh, their touch. You may even miss the fights because it meant you got to see them. Whatever the case may be, the fact remains that you miss them, but you're not alone. Most people experience this kind of heartache at some point in their lives, and there is a reason for it. It's because when we lose someone we love, our brains go through a process called grief. Grief is a natural reaction to loss, but it can be all-consuming and overwhelming. That's why it's important to allow yourself to grieve and heal, but you can also take steps to help yourself move on. One of the best things you can do is to talk about your ex with someone you trust. This could be a friend, family member, or therapist. Talking about your feelings will help you process them and move on. You can also try to focus on the positive aspects of your life. Make plans with friends, pursue your hobbies, and take care of yourself. It may not be easy, but with time and effort, you will heal. If you liked this video, check out the next one, and don't forget to subscribe.